Hi guys, this is me, Rusty78609, Central Texas, USA. It is 2:28 p.m. August the 26th, Saturday, 2:28 p.m. and it's overcast, sprinkling rain, not too breezy. It's okay. Along the coast of Texas, of course, they're getting a big hurricane, Harvey, of course. But anyway, that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is RVing. I was sitting here. For those of you that don't know me, I am 72 years old. I've full-time RV'd for 25 plus years. Mostly I pulled a travel trailer most of the time, in fact nearly all the time, until about 6 years ago. Then I started going camping in a Toyota Prius just for the heck of it, and I kind of liked that, and I did that off and on for about 5 years. I'd be gone for up to a month at a time sleeping in my Prius. So I've done travel trailers and then a Prius, and then I went camping in a pickup with a camper top on it. Did that for a few weeks, and all of that is good stuff. And but now I've ordered, I live in a 26-foot Jayco J-Flight travel trailer, and I've lived in this travel trailer for about 4.5 years, and I've had several others prior to this. And so, but anyway, I've got a new one on order. It's a 2018 Coachman Clipper Cadet CB8 16-foot model. Costs slightly under $10,000. Cheap. And you know, the build quality, you know, it's whatever Coachman builds. They don't make a special build for the lower price model. It's just that this one doesn't come with any bells and whistles, and that's not what I'm going to talk about either. I'm finally going to get to the point here. And the point of this video, I was just sitting here, I was looking around at all my stuff I've got to move and get, you know, make some changes to get into that 16-footer. And it occurred to me that when I first started out, you know, I'm not going to say I made a lot of mistakes, but I did a lot of things that I no longer do. Okay, and what I mean by that is, whenever I first started, and that's what this video's directed toward, is those people that are just starting out or thinking about buying an RV for the first time, or after they've just had one for a little while and they're still a little uncomfortable with using it, whether it's a motorhome, class A, B, C, or a travel trailer, bumper pull, fifth wheel, whatever, it doesn't matter. All this will apply to all of it. It's a generic video. It's just about traveling in an RV or going camping wherever. And when I first started out, I didn't even know what to do, really. The only places I knew that you could camp or that you could take an RV was to RV parks or state parks. That's all I thought about. Of course, I was living in Texas at the time. Actually Victoria, who was really getting it right now. It's over now, but anyway, they got a lot of damage. But anyway, enough said. So anyway, that's what I did. I would go to RV parks and state parks. That's it. And I would put the awning out and the rug and chairs, and even though it was just me, I saw everybody else doing it, and that's what I did. And was that a mistake? No. As you get used to it and you become a little more accustomed to it, you realize that's a little bit foolish. You don't need to roll out the mat and put out the awning and do all that stuff. But it's not a mistake. It's just you're learning by doing. And my recommendation, though, if we're starting out now, you know, expand your horizons a little bit. You know, don't just plan on going to RV parks, you know, like Thousand Trails, where you just go from one RV park to one RV park to one RV park. Even though they have a pretty good plan, you get a pretty good discount, and it's not very expensive, and you can do that. And there's other clubs you can join, Good Sam and all that kind of stuff, and you get discounts staying at RV parks. And another thing that I did was I only stayed at places that had full hookups. Okay, I mean, if they didn't have water, septic, and electric, they were off my list. Well, you miss about 90% of the camping areas when you do that. Okay, I didn't find that out till later. I really didn't even think about it, to tell you the truth, when I was first starting out. But later on, it occurred to me that, you know, there's a whole world out there, and so I started going to places that just had water and electric, and then I'd have to go to the dump and do all that stuff. But you know, that was again part of the learning experience, and again, you'll grow with it. But you know, whenever you start going to places that just have water and electric, you've opened up a little bit more, because some of the Bureau of Land Management campsites and some of the Corps of Engineers and even some of the state and national parks have just water and electric. You know, and some of them may just have water. and that's all. And so, you know, but again, you can live with all that without all that now, because, you know, when I first started out, solar was really expensive, and so I didn't do it. I did have a generator for a while, but I didn't like it because of the gasoline smell, and you had to, you know, I didn't like it. Okay, it was noisy. Well, it was a Honda 1000i, I think, and it was very quiet, to tell you the truth, and it was very energy efficient. It used about a half a gallon over a 8-hour period, whatever it was. It was very good. And I could run a window AC. You couldn't run the roof AC, but you could run a window AC. But anyway, so whenever you're just starting out, you know, just bear in mind that you'll grow into it. You know, I mean, you know, I don't know that you ought to start off boondocking. I mean, you can if you know what you're going to do and what you're getting into. But you know, as far as solar, you know, once you've got to the point where you have, I've got a ZAMP solar package now. It's called a suitcase. What do they call it? Suitcase solar, 120 watt solar system, and it works fine. You just set it out on the ground, hook it up to your battery, and away you go. You know, it'll keep it charged. If you've got sunlight 6 hours a day, you do good. But back when I first started, I didn't even think about using solar. So, you know, in the beginning, you know, again, just, you know, of course, you know, when you first start out, you're probably going to go to the full hookup spots, which I don't blame you, you know, because you basically want to be in your home, away from home, and that's, a lot of people do that, and that's what they buy. They basically buy their home to use on the road, or a pseudo home while they're traveling, and you know, that way, you know, they've got all the conveniences. But later on, you know, you'll come to, you know, you'll change. I changed over a period of years. It took me a few years to finally realize that I didn't need all that stuff. So I started out with about a 28-foot RV travel trailer, and then I went down to a 19-footer, and that was good, and I lived in it for a long time. And then, of course, I got this one, and I've got another one on order, and that's smaller because I don't need all this space. I thought my son and grandson were going to come visit, and they never did. They did a couple of times, and that was it. So anyway, but I think one of the things you'll find out is you'll probably start off with what is too big, and then later on you'll downsize it. That's kind of the way most people do, but don't worry about it. You know, buy what you think is going to work for you on the front end. Change when it comes time to change, and enjoy traveling, because what you're going to find is not only can you do with less of an RV, a smaller one, but you can also go boondocking and disperse camping. Boondocking just means you go out on some Bureau of Land Management land where there's no hookups, and you've got solar and water, and you're good to go with a 12-volt refrigerator or whatever you've got, and you can stay there for several days without having to go to town to replenish your supplies. And that's kind of like living in the wild. And you can do the same thing, disperse camping in the national forest, and it's enjoyable. You just have to be careful and remember that the animals don't know who you are, and you're in their backyard now. You're not in your backyard, you're in their backyard, and they may not like you being there, or they may not trust you. So, but you can expand and expand and expand. You know, if you want a flush toilet everywhere you're going to be, then, you know, you're going to have to go to the RV parks and all that stuff. But if you're boondocking, and that's where, you know, that's where it really gets interesting. I'm planning a trip right now, and I'll try to be a little brief, but I'm planning a trip now for next summer, or in the fall and then spring next summer, because I'm getting a smaller RV that I can tow with my Ram pickup, which is a 2017 V6, and I can tow up to about 4,900 pounds, and the RV travel trailer I've ordered is 2,360 pounds, so I can tow it quite easily. It's small enough that I can get around pretty good. But let me say this about that: whenever you go boondocking and you're pulling a travel trailer, and I've done that, you got to be careful, because you'll go down some of these roads and they start off they're okay. Well, then you get further down, they get pretty rough, but you can't turn around. And that goes the same way for motorhomes and Class A's, B's, and C's, because, you know, it takes a lot of space to turn those things around. In the same way with a travel trailer. Have I ever had to back my travel trailer up for a long distance to get out of one of those places? Yes. Did I enjoy it? No. So those are the things you run into. And even though you'll have a map that says that, you know, the road does this, this, and this, whenever you're out boondocking, those maps, throw them out the window, because about 50% of the time they're not all that accurate. Even the Forest Service maps, it'll show roads going everywhere. Well, some of those roads are roads that were there 50 years ago, and yeah, they're still there, but it would take an army tank to get down them. So, you know, those are the things that you learn as you go. The most enjoyable experience for me, and I think later on for some of you new guys too, or maybe you old pros out there too, the best thing for me now, and I see it happening in the past few years, is a blend. In other words, you know, whenever I'm out and about, I'll do a little boondocking, and then I'll go into a state park, and you know, so back and forth. I don't go into RV parks at all anymore, but I just use state parks, Bureau of Land Management, Corps of Engineers, and places like that, and national parks. But as far as going into RV parks, that's something I don't really care to do. Now, I'm still contemplating going out to New Mexico yet next year to get out of the heat in Texas for about 3 months, and I was looking at seriously, and still am, looking at staying in an RV park for the duration. In other words, just pull in, park, you're there for 3 months, and just tour the area using my pickup with a camper top, and that's still under consideration. But the more I think about it, you know, I'm kind of on the fence, because I don't know if I will stay in one place for that long period of time, and you know, so I may go back to what I suggested to you guys earlier in this video, is a blend of state parks, national parks, boondocking, dispersed camping, and just kind of alternate back and forth depending on what the weather is. If you need power because it's getting a little warm, go to a state park or a national park, or an improved Bureau of Land Management site, or a Corps of Engineers where they've got electric at least. And that way you can run your air conditioner and you'll be okay for several days, because you can stay at those places 2 weeks at a time. Well, you know, you do that 6 times and you've covered 3 months, or at least for me. So, you know, that's only 6 moves in 3 months, so that's not a big deal. But anyway, having said that, I just wanted to give you a heads up for the people that are new to it, or maybe it doesn't matter. This applies to anybody that's RVing. Just some ideas, some tips, and some thoughts mainly, just to trigger your thinking, so that you know, because some people may not have thought about all these. I know I didn't. Of course, we didn't have YouTube back then, so I couldn't watch YouTube videos. The only way to find out things was doing it yourself and word of mouth. Did I know anybody that owned an RV? No, none. So I was on my own. I had to wing it and learn it the hard way. I just watched other people, and like monkey see, monkey do, that's the way I learned. But anyway, having said that, from Central Texas, where the weather's not too bad right now, thumbs up, carpe diem, adios, bye. Oh, I'm making a fashion statement, by the way, for you new guys. This is a Fruit of the Loom t-shirt, and one of my viewers monogrammed some of them for me. I think I've got 6 of them, and so I really make all these. I really look fashionable, don't I? But anyway, thumbs up, carpe diem, adios, bye, bye. Buy USA made when you can. Drink plenty of water. 3 or 4 quarts a day will not hurt you. Actually, drinking plenty of water is good for you. Why? Because it will help you, number 1, avoid gout, kidney stones, and it will help you balance your blood sugar levels in your blood if you drink plenty of water. Also, it'll help you lose weight. Why? How? Well, because if you're full of water, you're not going to be hungry. You're not going to have those little hunger pains and start reaching for the snacks, and that's where you gain your weight. A lot of it, snacking. And anyway, what else? Take deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth several times a day, because that relieves stress, and relieving stress does what? Lowers your blood pressure. Lowering your blood pressure does what? Takes the pressure off your heart. The heart doesn't have to work so hard, you'll live longer. And if you feel good, and you'll stretch, walk, keep your health, if you feel good. I'm 72, I still feel good enough, and I'm still excited about going camping, and that's what I want everybody to do. I want you to feel good, because without feeling good, you ain't going nowhere, baby. And nobody around you is going to feel good. You know, it's like that old sign they used to have, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. Anyway, thumbs up, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Adios from Central Texas, USA. Bye-bye.